Now welcome to another of my Sunday commentary videos, which means this will stray just a bit away from Star Wars and the other things I normally cover, and be a more real-world discussion, though it does or will relate back to Star Wars, and this time it's actually one of the core themes of Star Wars that I'll look at in a somewhat real-world context, which is balance. In fact, you could even say that's what Star Wars is all about, the struggle of being selfless versus selfish, which is also a struggle, one of the main struggles I'd say, that each and every one of us faces here in this life. We all have to learn to get along with each other, to not forget about our fellow human beings as we pursue our own hopes and dreams. And before going on, let me talk very briefly about balance in Star Wars, because it can kind of be somewhat tricky or confusing depending on just what in-universe point of view you're coming at it from, because the way the Jedi see it, or when they talk about the balance of the Force, what they basically mean is the absence of dark side users. Or when the galaxy is free of those who can wield the Force and are so selfish with it that they rob many, if not most other people of choice or free will, and Palpatine or Darth Sidious is the prime example of what I'm talking about here. That is the main purpose for the existence of the Jedi, to stop the Sith. Though yes, Jedi will also intervene elsewhere in order to try and bring peaceful resolutions to conflicts, or to stop others who seek to impose their will too strongly on others. And Jedi attempt to accomplish this by themselves being completely selfless, by never attaching themselves too strongly or personally to anything and or anyone, so that they can always see things as objectively as possible, and never truly take sides or never act in their own best interest. Or at least, that's how they should work, or that's how they aim to work in theory. It doesn't always go this way in practice, as we've seen in the movies. But anyway, the thing is, the Jedi don't expect anyone else in the galaxy to be completely selfless like them. In fact, they know life does not and cannot work that way. Not everyone could be completely selfless all the time, or life or society just wouldn't function properly. To put it simply, in order for people to give, you have to have others willing to take. Not to mention, what the heck would be the point of life if no one ever sought to do something they wanted to do just for the sake of doing it, just for the fun of it, or just because they wanted something? Life, I would argue, is partly about indulging yourself from time to time, though not all the time. It's about going out there and doing or experiencing the things you want to, though yes, I do think more people should strive to find joy in the simple things in life, but that's a whole other discussion for another time. Anyway, the Jedi might even say they exist in order for people to do just that. They exist to make sure people can go out there and enjoy their life to the fullest, that they give up their own wants and desires in order to allow or safeguard the ability for others to pursue whatever will make them happy in life, again, free of those who would impose their own will on them. But this is of course where balance really begins to come back into the picture, the balance of selfish versus selfless that I talked about before, the one we all face. And the idea for this video actually came to me while I was on vacation a week or so ago, or on my honeymoon technically, and we just spent a couple days at this nice little resort, and everyone you see there or talk to or bump into is always in a great mood and is super friendly to one another. Everyone is there to just forget about everything else for a little while and relax and enjoy life. And these are people on vacation that come from all walks of life, all backgrounds and beliefs, all colors, sexualities, and so on. And for me, it was a reminder of maybe the greatest truth in life, that we all just want to enjoy this time we have to the fullest. And when I say all people, unfortunately, I don't mean that literally, because, to steal a line from the movie The Dark Knight, some men just want to watch the world burn. Some do take joy in the misery of others and don't want to see other people be happy or to succeed for one reason or another. But by and large though, I do believe all people just want to enjoy this life as much as they can, and there is absolutely nothing inherently wrong with that. However, I will say that, though I believe most people are just naturally selfish to some degree, we do have it essentially hardwired into us to worry about ourselves and our family first. I still do think and fully believe that very few people don't want to see everyone else get a chance to enjoy life as much as they can too. Which is of course where the great conflict of balance arises in our lives. Because yeah, most of us would love to see others succeed and be happy, but how much do we ourselves want to give up to see that happen for them? Is it fair to hold someone back to move others forward? Is equality the same starting line for everyone? Or moving the finish line so everyone wins, but no one ever really runs as far as they could have, to use a really bad analogy? Are people entitled to be happy just because they exist? And are others obligated to make that happen? And I think we'll almost all have somewhat different answers to these questions, if not radically different. We'll all envision the perfect society differently, though I think it's interesting to point out how the Jedi might feel about some of these questions, that they might quickly say they don't exactly serve the people of the galaxy directly. They don't exist to bring joy and prosperity to people, again, directly. Instead, they exist to give them the opportunity at it. They safeguard the chance at a good life for everyone to find for themselves. The Jedi, again in theory, not always practice, aren't forcing others on a macro scale to be kind to each other or to share and be generous. They're not trying to control anyone, that's what the Sith do. Instead, again, they're trying to allow people the chance to live as they see fit, to govern themselves. And they would probably argue that forcing or legislating things such as kindness, generosity, and decency only offers the illusion of those things. That once you have to make laws to balance your society, once you have to force people not to be overly selfish, that not only have you lost balance, but you have a deeper-seated problem with your society or the people who make it up. One that I'm not sure the Jedi would feel making more laws could ever truly fix. Not to mention, can you really say you have a fair society when everyone is forced to be fair to each other? Are your people really compassionate when they're forced to share with and be nice to others? And again here, I think these are all questions that don't have easy or easily agreed upon answers. In fact, I think these are basically the questions that are currently dividing many of us politically, and that if we're going to be united, there has to be some compromise somewhere. And I do think an argument could be made that many of the best solutions do fall somewhere in between the two extremes. However, I don't think we should look to others to save us. I don't think politicians can or will ever get us out of this current mess. They will never be our Jedi. I think people, individuals, don't so much need to change, they just need to look inward and find the balance between selfless and selfish themselves, which, yes, is easier said than done, but not impossible to achieve if you try. And balance needs to be found not only in our personal lives and how we treat others, but how we expect others to treat us too. And this is where I really say something that maybe a lot of people won't like or they'll disagree with, but I think it's selfish of an individual to expect others to fully accept them, or their beliefs, or their ways, or how they choose to live their life. But selfless, to let someone be who they want to be, or to do or live as they want to live. Within reason, of course. We can't let people go around hurting others or anything like that. In other words, and these are pretty much my most fundamental beliefs, you don't have to like someone else. You don't have to approve of what they do or how they choose to live, but you don't have to hate them either. You basically just have to tolerate them and get along with them when you encounter them. Treat them as you want to be treated yourself has worked for me far, far more often than it hasn't worked. Though maybe the funny thing is, I think most people already live their life this way. Most people honestly don't care one way or the other what you do with your life as long as it doesn't hurt them or otherwise impact them too greatly. And if they do, who really cares? You are never going to please everyone or gain acceptance from everyone. This is a fact of life we must come to accept. Nevertheless, I do think most people, again, just want to be left alone to pursue their hopes and dreams, and they want you to be left alone to do and find the same. And again, the question is finding the best way for everyone to be able to achieve the life they want without impeding too greatly on others. And probably the biggest thing in the way of achieving that is that nowadays some, maybe many, purposely put disapproval on the same level as hate. They intentionally conflate the two. If you don't approve of everything I do or how I live, or won't treat me exactly as I want or expect to be treated, then you must hate me and are actively against me and want to see me no longer exist. This, I believe, is the greatest fallacy in this world right now, and it is destroying us. And one we really need to stop falling for on both sides if we are ever going to make things better, if we are ever going to balance both ourselves and this world we all share. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. Now it's your turn to weigh in and give me your thoughts on anything or everything I had to say. So leave a comment below and let's talk some Star Wars as well as a little bit about our own real world. And until next time, thanks for watching.